So friends, today we learned some of the staggering details about how one of Donald Trump's nefarious White House lawyers tampered with witness Cassidy Hutchinson. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, as the January 6th committee that investigated the insurrection begins releasing transcripts of the witnesses that testified before the committee, we are learning some staggering information, some additional information about an extraordinarily brave young woman named Cassidy Hutchinson. You very likely remember some of Miss Hutchinson's testimony when it was presented in one of the J6 committee public hearings. If you'll recall, she testified, among other things, about an incident that happened in the presidential limo that Deputy Chief of Staff Tony Ornato told her about. Remember, after Donald Trump ginned up his angry mob on January 6th and told them to march to the Capitol, fight like hell or they won't have a country anymore, stop the certification, he got in the presidential limo, which is nicknamed the Beast, and demanded that they drive him to the Capitol so he could lead the insurrection, lead the attack on the Capitol. They said no. And after an argument, Tony Ornato said he tried to strangle, the president tried to strangle, Donald Trump tried to strangle the driver. And Ms. Hutchinson testified about what Tony Ornato told her about that. That was just one piece of her testimony. Well, what we now know, based on the release of Cassidy Hutchinson's transcripts, was that a Trump-affiliated organization arranged to pay for a lawyer for Cassidy Hutchinson, a guy named Stefan Passantino. Remember that name, Stefan Passantino. And what Stefan did was the exact opposite of what a lawyer should do. He didn't zealously represent the interests of his client, Cassidy Hutchinson. He represented the interests of Donald Trump by telling Cassidy Hutchinson to lie to the January 6th committee and cover up the crimes of Donald Trump. Against that backdrop, let's look at some of the new reporting today. This from CNN. Headline: Trump acknowledged his election loss to McCarthy before January 6th, Hutchinson testified. Now that's an important headline in and of itself. That's not the sort of thrust of the portion of the article I want to focus on today, but it is important because of course Donald Trump acknowledged he lost the election. Before January 6th, he acknowledged to others he lost the election. But then he went out on January 6th at his pre-insurrection pep rally and lied to everybody and said the election was fraudulent, it was rigged, and your vote was stolen, now go fight like hell. Even though he knew he lost the election. This is just further evidence of Donald Trump's corrupt intent, his criminal state of mind, his guilty mens rea. But let me turn to a couple of passages that are a little bit further down in that CNN article. Stefan Passantino, she, Cassidy Hutchinson, said, told her to provide as little detail as possible to the select committee and simultaneously spoke with her about job opportunities, which she viewed as veiled efforts to buy her loyalty. In particular, he told her not to disclose her recollections of a conversation with then White House Deputy Chief of Staff Tony Ornato about an incident between Trump and his Secret Service detail on January 6th. Before deciding to cooperate with the Select Panel's probe, Hutchinson switched attorneys, got rid of Stefan. She's now represented pro bono by former DOJ official Jody Hunt. Passantino's legal fees had been paid by a Trump-allied group, the committee has disclosed. When Passantino first called Hutchinson about her legal representation, he refused to tell her who was funding his services, Hutchinson told investigators. And now let's turn to just a short portion of Ms. Hutchinson's testimony that was released in a transcript today. Cassidy Hutchinson. I told Stefan that day about the incident that happened in the Beast, which I should refer to as the presidential limo, because that was one. And I remember saying to Stefan, Tony Ornato and I were very close at the White House. Tony told me this incident happened. And I didn't go into extremely graphic detail telling Stefan about it. I tried to kind of make it more casual than my conversation with Tony really was, but I think I said something to Stefan like, yeah, I had this conversation with Tony Ornato when we got back from the rally that day, and he told me that the president tried to wrap his hands around Bobby's neck and strangle him because he wouldn't take him to the Capitol. And Stefan, her lawyer, who's supposed to have her best interests at heart, Stefan said, no, 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 no. I remember he sat back in his chair and he's like, no, 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 no. We don't want to go there. We don't want to talk about that. So Cassidy Hutchinson's lawyer, Stefan Passantino, paid for by a Trump-affiliated group, urged his client to lie under oath to a congressional committee. That's not somebody acting like an attorney. That's like somebody acting like a mob liaison, like a fixer for a mafia boss. Counseling your client to lie under oath is an egregious ethical violation. It's an offense for which an attorney should be disbarred. And it's a crime for which an attorney should be prosecuted. Because justice matters. Friends, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.